Hi, friends. So, hopefully, if you're watching this, this means that you have gone to my Joan Cromwell author page on Facebook and have followed it, and so that you can follow this journey. So, about the book. Um, Back in July of 2020, I read Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, which I highly recommend to anybody who is creative in any way, art, writing, photography, any kind of creativity. Such an amazing book, so good. So I believe that reading that book opened my mind to the possibility of big magic in the world, and how creativity can come to us, and if we're paying attention, how it wants to cooperate with us to bring about beautiful things. So I read that, and about 2 weeks later, I was texting with someone who was very dear to me, and they were heading kind of down a path that didn't make sense to me. And, I knew it was kind of like one of those moments where you can see somebody you care about heading in a direction that you know is bad for them, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I just thought, they're a poor guardian angel. Must be such a hard job to constantly kind of steer them towards their destiny and towards things that are good in their life, and when sometimes we're our own worst enemy. So and I was thinking of how I think heaven tries to help us, and sometimes we get in the way. And from that, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. This whole story came to me, and I wrote down the characters, the outline, the gist of the story, and it like downloaded into my brain. I was so confident in it that I went to the dollar store and got a stack of composition books, and started writing, and really thought maybe it's a short story. I've always liked the idea of writing, never had the patience or the time for it, and now I do. And I thought, we'll see. I'll start writing, see what happens. Right. So, as I mentioned in the last one, I started writing and writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, and but finally, and I wouldn't even let anybody. My first idea was I was just going to write it, and then like 6 months down the road, I was just going to like, this is what I did. It's a great big thing. In fact, I'll show you. Here's the book, not just printed out, and there it is, 330 pages. So that's just, I printed it out for my own peace of mind. Um, so for the first maybe 100 pages, I shared with my friends and family, who some of them, what I was doing. But for the first 100 pages, I would only let anybody call it the story, and I referred to it as the story. And then when it got over 200 pages, I started to call it the book. And then yeah, it became obvious, especially when I knew what the plot was, and I knew there was so much more to come. So, what is it about? The working title initially was Guardians, but I didn't like that as a title. So, the title is actually Sacred Misfortune, and it comes from something that one of the characters says in the book, which is free will is a divine gift to all, but in some hands, it is a sacred misfortune. So, okay, so the story. Now this is the blurb that's going to the literary agents. There's a lot more to the story than this, but this is the basic teaser kind of thing. When Samantha is asked to be a guardian angel to Jack Johnson, a decidedly underachieving soul, she is both honored and excited by the prospect of helping him to reach his destiny and by being part of the grand plan for humanity. But when everything goes sideways before Jack is even born, sending him to New Jersey of all places, and when tragedy strikes shortly after his birth, Samantha realizes that she had no idea what she had signed up for. Jack and Samantha become part of a unique family that is not obligated by genetics, but are bound by love and a collective act of free will. Each family member has their own destiny and a guardian angel working hard to protect them when possible and help them complete their mission without interfering with their choices. This becomes no easy task when one family member is a victim of a horrendous crime. Another family member is wrongfully accused, and it's Jack's destiny to make it right. So that's the gist of it, but it is so much more. There are wonderful, rich characters, and each has a very interesting perspective. It's beautiful how they all come together as a family. They all come from different backgrounds, so there is all kinds of spirituality drawn from at least a dozen religions and belief systems, and not presented in a manner of this is right or this is wrong at all. It's just, what about this? What if? It's perspective of, the possibilities of spirituality, and even tackle some of the really big why questions, like, does everything happen for a reason? Free will is a really, really big theme in the story of, that, like I said, it's for better or for worse, we all have free will, and sometimes that can be our worst enemy, and sometimes us insisting on our free will is very painful to other people. And there's a big part of the themes in it too is that the world is full of magic and possibilities if you're have open eyes to see it. And so there is a lot of just interesting, unusual things. There is a subplot that's like a true crime kind of element to it, and just a lot of great characters. And I don't feel like I hope it doesn't come off as arrogant that I feel so strongly about it. I do just really believe in the story, and it's been a magical, magical experience to write it. And I will be giving you more and more tidbits as we go along in these different blogs. But that's the gist of the story. And this was actually the notebook that I use to make notes and do research on different belief systems, and marked up and came up with some crazy ideas and kept track of all the characters and their situations, and it the characters range in age from newborn to in their late 60s, and it's just a really great magical story. So feel free to comment. Again, only positive feedback. In this setting, we don't need any critics. Come along and hop on the parade float with me. Don't pee on my parade. Love you guys. Talk to you later.